Hello and welcome back to MoonClan. My name is Frosty and we are picking up right where we left off last time on Moon 8, about to go into Moon 9 for MoonClan here. Last time we did become an apprentice and we are following the warrior's way. We are kind of growing up into a more of a dark forest path, so once we get out to like an adult, since I kind of want to avoid that as an apprentice slash teenager, we may end up following that path, so let me know what you think in the comments below about that. If you miss out on this message last episode, I am pre-recording because I'm going to be gone for a week, so I wanted to make sure I was getting ahead so there's no lapse in content. What that means, though, is that if you left a comment in the last episode about something you want to see or something I'm doing wrong, I'm not going to have seen that since I am working ahead of time, so I apologize for that, but rest assured if you leave me a tip, I will be enacting on that moving forward. So as we are an apprentice, our scope is kind of starting to narrow down into just our immediate circles, so I'm going to be focusing less on other cats' interactions and patrols and a little bit more on our own. Of course, I'm still going to be highlighting on the interesting ones, but if nothing is very interesting, I won't be reading out on it. So, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into Moon 9 for MoonClan. My mouse is still acting a little bit funny, so if it's doing weird things, I apologize. Okay, Frostpaw's gotten a running nose, which is a little nerve-wracking since we're in Leaf Bear, but luckily isn't any worse. We wake up before Coyote Path, our mentor, and decide to sneak out of camp with some other apprentices. Honestly, probably our siblings. We spend the morning lazing in the sun together, laughing. A thorny bush snags our fur during a hunt. It's embarrassing, but it provides a valuable lesson. Hollowpelt wishes to join the elders. Sparrowstar calls the meeting and the clan honors them and all the service Hollowpelt has given to them. Which isn't very much, but I thought they already were in Helter. Frostpaw tells a joke that only Sparrowstar can understand. Bitespeck is happy to run to Frostpaw today. Stonefruit has noticed Frostpaw isn't doing a lot of work lately. Yeah, we grew to be cold and then rebellious, so that combined with that all event of us shirking off our duties, yeah, that sounds about right. The stench coming from Hollowpelt is finally fading. They recovered from carrion place disease. But then they had a bad fall while taking a walk through the territory and come back to camp quite sore. Sore is better than the broken bone, which is my immediate thought when an elderly cat takes a tumble. And it makes sense that of all the cats to be hurt, it would be Hollowpelt, who does not know the lay of the land quite yet. Nothing else there. Ooh, look at the clan camp with all the frost and ice on it. That's really cool. I really, really enjoy that. Oh, Sparrowstar wants to go on a patrol with us. Okay, well, he is the leader, and he's also looking a little bit older. So what he says goes, and we may very well end up being a bit more of a suck-up than I was thinking we'd be. And he looks like he's fierce. I didn't think he was fierce before, but he may have aged into that. Sparrowstar and Bitespeck laugh hysterically together in the middle of the clearing, howls careening off the camp walls. We smile to ourselves, happy to see Sparrowstar make some progress with their obvious crush. Ooh. Well, that's doomed from the start, but it's definitely there. I guess I've been, neglecting the relationships enough. Oh, and they're the exact same age, just as Bitespeck looking a little bit older, too. He's forbidding anyone from disturbing him while working. Stonefruit can't believe that they overslept today. Well, they had a negative effect with us, so we're gonna insult them. As if I couldn't like you any less. Okay. Thanks, Stonefruit. And Bitespeck was the last cat that we had the positive interaction with. We try to sneak up on them, but they trip us with their tail before we can even get close. I can tell it's you by just the sound of your paw steps, dummy. Ha ha ha. Well, Bite Spec definitely seems to be a little bit more informal with us, so whether or not that's a good mood because of Sparrowstar, or they're just actually opening up to us, I don't really know. But man, I just can't get over this winter background. It looks like Bayfer has a little bit of a crush on Greenfin, and that's not really returned. But I could see Bayfer maybe trying to manipulate some things around Greenfin to make them a little bit more compatible. Looks like Icy Eyes has a little bit of feelings for Sparrowstar as well. It's not returned in the same capacity, but we are going to have quite an interesting love triangle, rectangle, octagon with all the senior adults in the camp, it looks like. Looks like Coyote Path has quite a crush on Stone Fruit. I don't think that's her turn, but they do have pretty strong feelings for one another overall, so that could definitely turn into something else. In fact, I think we'll actually mediate them, and I think we will allow romantic on this one and see what happens with those two. Okay, no one else is crushing on anybody, even a little bit, so no other relationship drama, but we do have quite a little bit maybe brewing there. Something I haven't really talked about that I am a little curious about is who our prospective mate could be. I mean, we've got quite a few cats in our same age group, so once we get a little bit older, there could be a lot of different possibilities. All of Greenfin's statuses have been something about fishing. Like, I get that they're a fish catcher, but he's like made it his whole identity. He's either having a problem with the hunt, looking for the next spot, or catching a fish. Like, there's no in between with him. So it's just kind of funny to think of him as being like a, you know, just really devout fisherman. Here's Sky Scratch, all fully grown up. Looks like nothing's changed with her traits, but I almost picked a cat that looked exactly like this for our protagonist, so I think it's kind of funny that she ended up following us into the clan anyway. I don't think I would have been sad to have a cat this pretty be our main protagonist. Oh, looks like we're daydreaming about having a mate and kiss someday, so I guess I'm on the same wavelength as our cat. Oh no, our status has changed again. So at 6 moons we were cold, at 7 moons we were rebellious, and at 8 moons we're lonesome. And we've kept the restless sleeper throughout it all. So obviously something is really kind of shifting our perspective. We've been seeing more on the negative side of things overall, but I'm really curious to see what we're going to actually end up growing up into, and how much of that could be attributed to Coyote Path even. It's really funny because I thought that we had a lot more positive interactions this moon than usual. And I thought that that was maybe because Rebellious just wasn't as antagonistic as Cold is for a lot of cats. But no, I guess it's because we're lonesome now. Poor Lilac Kit wants some cat to talk to. She's all alone in the nursery. Luckily, she will be an apprentice next moon, so she'll catch up a little bit at least. But it looks like for our patrols, just based off of everybody's statuses, we're going to go with Sparrowstar, because he's our leader and what he says goes, and our mentor. And I guess we'll see where Sparrowstar's needs are needed to be met, and we'll just be tagged along on that patrol. Oh, I almost forgot about our LifeGen patrol, though. Our mentor suggests that it's time to hone our climbing skills. You see a tall tree nearby, its branches waving invitingly in the wind. We muster our courage and make an attempt to climb. The slippery branch leads to a minor mishap. We land softly on the ground, a bit bruised but largely unscathed. Our mentor reminds us that failure is a stepping stone to success. I honestly don't know where we would be with Sparrowstar here. So we are pretty inexperienced overall. I think I may honestly just leave this one up to a random patrol, because we have enough cats to send out another border patrol if we don't roll one. Sparrowstar suggests this might be a good chance for the cats to practice new fighting techniques, particularly with us here to learn from them. Everyone has a nice practice session, picking up a nice selection of new tricks to try out in their next skirmish. We get really into it, and we're praised for our focus and enthusiasm. As they head out to gather cobwebs, Spike thinks about the dream they had last night. Was it sent by StarClan? Somehow, cobweb gathering brings Spike to an almost meditative state. Not only are they fairly confident of their next sets, having been given this vision, they also bring back a good haul for our stocks. Okay, so it starts snowing soon after the patrol sets out, trying to bring back something, anything for the fresh kill pile. This does have a risk of going very bad for us, so I'm going to take a quick look here and see what those traits are that would never proceed and which would always proceed. Okay, so it looks like we have neither, but we really have good stock of supplies here. And so, just given the circumstances, we get to make our own call. We have Swanspot and 2 apprentices here. I don't think Swanspot is going to want to put her kits at immediate risk of, like, frostbite or worse, just to get another mouse or 2 when we have such a big surplus back at camp. And I don't think that Greenfin is going to be such an avid fisher that he's going to risk his clanmates, so we're not going to proceed. We decide to turn back and wait until the snow dies down. Exactly. Our last patrol will be border. As our patrol is checking the border lines, we notice that a Goose Clan scent has strayed into the territory. We are most likely to antagonize, and given that it's Leaf Bear, I think that is going to be true here. This is a trespass that will not be tolerated and frankly should be reciprocated. We blatantly spread our own scent on their territory, ruining the clearly marked border lines and worsening relationships. Well, that's better than us following it and finding out that they're up a tree because of a dog or something. Moving into Moon 9 of Us Alive. We no longer have a running nose, but we were seen touching noses with someone from Goose Clan, Scandalous. Okay, so this is something I found out last episode, which is that apprentices are exempt from those events. So luckily for us, we're just going to get a lecture when we get back, and it's not going to count against us. But who are we greeting? Ravenpaw challenges us to a sparring match. After a few minutes, we manage to get the upper paw and win. An older apprentice wants a training bout against you. It sings, but we're determined to learn. Under the moon, we watch StarClan flicker. The sight feels like a silent promise. Ooh. Maybe we are destined for greatness. Or maybe we're looking at the stars with more negative intentions. Lilac Paw has decided that hunting and fighting is not the way they want to provide for their clan. Instead, they have chosen to serve their clan by healing and communing with StarClan. Spike proudly becomes their mentor. I'm really grateful for this because we just did not have any medicine cats or prospective medicine cats otherwise. I'm a little sad because that means Lilac Paw is never going to have kits of her own. And she's such a pretty cat and last cat alive Blue Runner's line. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Some bloodlines die. Frostpaw is jealous that Bayfur went on patrol without them. And Greenfin admires how brave we are. Greenfin has gotten a running nose, and Judas Shade has recovered from their dislocated joint. Hollow Pelt is no longer sore. Just a Goose Clan thing again. Spike always seems to have petals stuck in their fur. Fitting for a medicine cat, but I'm curious to see what that looks like all together with them. Okay, so we do have the petals unlocked now for Spec, which I do think we're going to go ahead and put on them. I mean, they're a medicine cat. I'm not going to refuse petals or herbs or similar objects for them. He's currently thinking about StarClan. And here's Lilac Paw, now an apprentice. She is mellow, curious about StarClan, and oddly resourceful. Here's Judas Shade, now an elder or senior. She wants to go on patrol with Weasel Paw. So loyal. We are currently wondering how Hollowpelt is doing. So because we're wondering after another cat, we should go on patrol with them. But Hollowpelt is obviously an elder, so they are going to be exempt from that patrol. But we will talk to them. Ravenpaw wants to make Sparrowstar proud. And aforementioned Hollowpelt is enjoying the warm sun in the camp clearing. You know, I wish there was a new type of patrol. I know there's hunting, border, herb gathering. But wouldn't it be cool if we were able to explore the area outside of clan territories? Like, I'd be so down to just wander. What if there's territory that had so much more prey or super cool new healing herbs? Guess we wouldn't know. Healing herbs. Healing herbs. This is the first moon of our apprenticehood that our trait hasn't changed, by the way. So we've got a positive interaction with Greenfin and negative one with Bay for this go. Okay, so what? Kind of wish we could come up with a bit more creative insult, but that's okay. Hello, Frostpaw. I found this feather. Isn't it pretty? It's so bright. I'm not sure what bird it came from. I just got back to camp and saw it laying here. I wish I could have seen it. I love watching birds. It's a shame I missed it. And I don't imagine there's very many birds to see. Right now, anyway, in Leaf Bear. Alrighty, patrol times. We and another apprentice are tasked with collecting moss. As we work together, we can't help but notice how they look under the sunlight. You become so lost in your thoughts that you misplace some moss. They help you correct the mistake, but you're left feeling embarrassed. Let's see. The only other apprentices are our siblings, so maybe we're feeling a bit envious about how they're growing up compared to us when it comes to beauty. Really interesting to think about. So we're not thinking about any particular cats, and no other cats are particularly thinking about us, so we'll just go on a training patrol. Coyote Path takes them both out to see a big porcupine, a patrol spot in one of the many glades of the forest. Frostpaw refuses to believe that the happy, snuffly creature they visit can possibly be dangerous prey, and starts an argument with Coyote Path about it. Get stuck once and you will never argue again. These guys are out again because, once again, Weaselpaw's mentor is down sick. And they quickly devolve into ghost stories, leaving everyone on edge. Ravenpaw tries to look brave in front of the other cats, but hears a rustle behind him and startles so badly they fall over. I guess their nerves aren't fully resolved. Oh boy. I love this artwork, though. They look like they are overconfident. As the patrol is marking the border lines, a gang of rogues strides out of the brush, challenging the clan cats. We are most likely to antagonize, and as a group of mostly skilled warriors, I think we're going to keep to that. We descend into battle without a second thought, eventually driving the rogues away. Eyes glowing the last rays of sunset, our party heads out into dusk. Unfortunately, we don't bring back home a huge load of prey this time. It's no one's fault, but today's just one of those times. The cats console themselves as they walk home. And I think I am going to talk to our siblings real quick, just because we're getting a little bit up there in our apprenticehood, and I'm curious to see how they're handling it. Hey, remember when we were young and Swanspot used to parade us around the nursery on the border patrol? Remember when Swanspot caught us trying to sneak out of the nursery? Starkland, I've never seen you so mad. You and Weaselpaw have a long conversation reminiscing on memories of your kithood together, making each other laugh louder and louder with stories of old. And that's why I feel like we'd be getting at least some support from our siblings right now. Oh, sorry, were you saving the shrew? Ravenpaw licks the entire shrew from top to bottom and shoots you a dirt-eating grin. Whoops, guess it's mine now. Hehehe. Leave it to your sibling to know just how to get on your nerves. Ah, that's what I've been missing. I think for like random interactions, though, it will just be family and den mates. No, I was not expecting that this episode. The clan gathers around the Great Rock, their eyes watching you and your clan leader. As Sparrowstar ascends, a solemn silence falls. You step forward when the moment comes, a flurry of pride and nerves as the leader's muzzle touches your head. They honor your serenity, and you are now known as Frostburn. Serenity is not the word I think I'd attribute with our apprenticehood, so let's see what we grew up into in a second here. Ravenpaw has excelled at every task placed before them. Despite their young age, they are more than ready to be a warrior. They are given the name Raven Spots, honoring their hard work. I think we're going to be changing around both our names, but poor Weaselpaw to be the only one left behind of the siblings. Oh. Moonfern announced that they are expecting kids. Life goes on for now. They'll move into nursery, but not this moon. Wonder who the parent is. Frostfern is having a wonderful time discussing recent clan news with Sky Scratch. And poor Coyote Path had a rough go of it this moon. They got white cough, and when they weren't looking where they were going, they tripped over a small trunk, gaining a few bruises. Icy Ice's mangled tail is healed, but they'll always carry evidence of the incident on their pelt. And that's it for this moon. Oh, interesting. So we kept a lonesome trait, but we are a dream shaper now. I wonder if that means like a dream walker like Jayfeather, or if we're just a vivid dreamer. And we're wanting to critique Moonfern's fighting techniques. We may be getting a little too big for our britches here. We were mentored by Coyote Path, who influenced us to be more likely to dwell on things, use words over teeth and claws, and have strong inner morals. When they graduated, they were honored for their dependability. Their training went so well they graduated early at 10 moons old. I'm gonna be here for a second, I think. Not as long as I expected, though. Whisper is not a suffix I'd ever really considered, but for this particular frost, I think that is going to be a pretty good one. We're lonesome and kind of in the background, so Whisper in a lot of ways just makes sense, I think. And then here's Raven Spots, thinking about a strange shoe-like object they saw recently. And he grew to be cunning and a fantastic healer, which just makes it bite even harder that they didn't choose to become a medicine cat themselves. I think they probably would have done a great job. But they were mentored by Swanspot, who influenced them to be more likely to defend their beliefs, heed their inner compass, and be consistent. Swanspot helped them become better at healing. They graduated, they were honored for their hard work early at 10 moons old. Okay, I think I settled on song for Raven suffix, which makes sense to me because ravens are very cunning animals by nature, and there's just something a bit more gentle about song as a suffix that if he ever does get to become a medicine cat, I could see that fitting equally well. Looks like Weaselpaw shouldn't be too far behind us, but I'm sure that smarts a little bit to be left behind. And I think in honor of our leadership ceremony, I'm going to talk to leader, deputy, like all of our actual family members and anyone who's like thinking about us in any way. So Sphaerosar is currently basking in the sun. You know, Frost Whisper, I never really found you all that convincing as a warrior. Real warriors are strong. We are fearless. We never back down from a fight. But in you, I sense uncertainty. Maybe you should see the medicine cat about it. Is that the game's way of saying that maybe this isn't our path for us? Stonefruit is feeling gloomy. Stonefruit has been grooming every inch of themselves for what seems like hours now. We can't tell if they're incredibly vain or just super paranoid. Speaking of them, though, I do think I'm going to mediate them a little bit again. Swanspot is feeling happy. That makes perfect sense, given that our clan is growing with warriors, and 2 of her kids just became warriors. I was hoping that if I remained still enough, you'd go away. To go back to looking frozen. I can tell who's a favorite child, and it's not me. Greenfin, fish fear them, she-cats love them. Moonfern is engaging the apprentices in a very, very tall tale. I am really curious about making her a queen, because like I said, I think she'd be really good at it, And becoming a parent so young could very well influence where she foresees her path in life going. Sky Scratch is feeling excited. Talking with Raven Song, who's talking with Tree Shade across camp. Haha, yeah, and then, oh, here's a cat of the hour, my sibling. What's up? Me and Bitespec were just talking about embarrassing moments. Oh, speaking of embarrassing, hey, you gotta get a load of this story. Raven Song then proceeds to regale the cat with the most embarrassing possible stories from your kid as possible. Clearly your claymate sees you in a new light now, and Raven Song shoots you a smarmy grin. Not to worry, you'll get them back later. Raven Song has really grown into himself, hasn't he? Hazelpaw is wanting to get to know Bayfur better. They laugh to themselves in the middle of the clearing. Huh? Oh hey, Frost Whisper. Don't mind me, I was just reminiscing a little. Frost Whisper and I used to play this hilarious game where we'd throw ourselves off the roof of the Warrior's End so you could make the ladder crash. Oh. I think it was something along the lines of, you know, that could be dangerous though. It's a good thing the kids don't play it anymore. Maybe a good thing. And our trait is critiquing Moonfern's fighting techniques, so since they are up for patrol, I think we'll go out with them. Ooh, I love this artwork. Look at that, that's so pretty with the river and I'm assuming fishies. We find a particularly smooth stone near the river that reminds us of a cat we're fond of. We think they might like it as a gift. We present the stone, but they seem confused and unsure what to do with it. We feel embarrassed for playing this moment over and over again while we're in your nest that night. Oh no. The awkward moments never ever really go away. But if it's any consolation, you usually are your worst critic, and things that you think about at 3 a.m. on a weekday night, when you've got someplace to be in the morning, I think that's usually things that most people don't even remember after a little bit, so rest assured, it shouldn't really be keeping you up. Okay, so us and Moonfern. We're both pretty inexperienced, so I think we'll take up a training patrol for ourselves. And I think Raven Song is a good cat to bolster that out. Moonfern suggests this could be a good chance to practice new hunting techniques. As we practice, conversation turns to prey and which animal tastes best. Moonfern might completely disagree with us on our frankly terrible taste in prey, but both cats learn a lot from each other regardless. I wonder what would be considered a good or a bad taste of prey, honestly. At least Icy Ice is finally able to take Weaselpaw out training. Or just not step up to teach them. Poor Weaselpaw. Okay, so our border patrol has noticed some suspicious paw prints in the mud. We have to proceed here. It leads to a trespassing rogue, and we quickly hide ourselves behind a bush and set up an ambush, sending the rogue fleeing off of our territory. As all things should be. Our patrol comes across a large rat. It's too busy digging around in a frozen pile of foul two-legged crow food to notice the approaching patrol. I mean, just in this circumstance, I don't think we wouldn't not proceed. I don't think I've ever seen this myself. If I have, I'm sorry. But my concern about proceeding here is just I remember cats getting sick from things that rats were eating before, and I don't want to accidentally poison half of our clan. That being said, I don't know that that's actually the case, and neither theoretically with these cats, so we'll proceed. Pigeon Flick drops into Hunter's crouch and silently moves closer to make a clean kill. Strangely, the rat turns to Pigeon Flick and makes a series of pained squeaks. Greenfin orders a retreat after Pigeon Flick smells the disgusting scent of crow food from the rat's breath. That's exactly what I feared would happen, but luckily no cat was hurt, and I think they could at least warn the rest of the clan about possible repercussions there. Alright, with all that being said, I do think I'm going to wrap up this episode here. I know it's a little bit shorter, but I don't want to get too far ahead without too much input in case there's some insight that I'm missing that could prove to be really valuable. A comment from, well, for me last episode, for you guys 2 episodes ago, led me to realize I didn't even have the most updated version of LifeGen downloaded, so I don't want to be missing anything so obvious again. But with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you especially to Parental Units for supporting the channel, as that is greatly appreciated. In the description below, if you're so inclined, you can find a few links. One to Ko-Fi if you wanted to tip me but didn't want to set up an actual commitment, and then another for Twitch. I am streaming every Saturday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we are currently doing a playthrough of Pokemon Storm Silver Nuzlocke, so if you're interested, go give me a follow over there. But with all that being said, until next time, stay safe and stay happy. I'll see you then, and bye!